So we were scammed earlier this week, and here's the story about it. We were emailed about a month ago from a supposed booking manager for Ed Mylett saying that, or offering us to be on a 1 hour Facebook Live podcast episode with Ed Mylett and to kind of talk about the grandparents, journey in their 62 years of marriage, and to kind of talk about how did they get into the social media realm. Did they have any advice for, people that are in relationships for a long lasting marriage, things like that. So I had been corresponding with this person for the last month, and they said that their name was John Morgan and that he was the booking manager for Ed Mylett. The email seemed, professional and written well. It even had kind of a picture of Ed Mylett and all of his social medias linked in the email. And so everything kind of looked, legit to me. I even know to kind of check the email name to see if anything is kind of either misspelled or just off there. So I did that. And everything seemed to check out. The person was very responsive over the last month. I will say we were really looking forward to this. Papa has honestly he's not a good public speaker. He used to be a CFO of a bank and have to do a lot of presentations and would honestly need to take some anxiety medication prior to speaking because he just isn't good with public speaking and kind of having to come up with not necessarily a script, since it's kind of real life events that he would have to account for, but he's a better almost like ad lib person. That's why he's so funny in his own way. But he was on the Excel spreadsheet. We even kind of talked about the questions on our Kentucky Derby trip, and to make him feel more comfortable, we've been discussing them for the last month, and we honestly were really excited to be able to tell their story and their journey of the last 62 years and things that have happened, the history of their jobs, which we haven't really delved into a story like that on social media. And I know that's a lot of the questions from a lot of our viewers. So we were honestly excited for this to be able to, get a lot of those questions answered for you all. But just their story is absolutely beautiful and inspirational, and just something that we were really looking forward to. Fast forward to May 9th, we had a pre-meeting kind of Zoom meeting with this booking manager, and definitely should have been a red flag to me and the grandparents. We got on the Zoom meeting. It was just a brief talk about what was going to happen this week, kind of on the podcast. The person did not show their face on the camera. It was just kind of a black screen with like the podcast typical microphone emblem on the screen. So that should have been another cue to me. If like a professional booking manager is actually gonna take the time to do a pre-meeting with you, you would think they would show their face as well. They said that basically you'll get an event invite in your Facebook on your professional dashboard, and you just have to accept that invite, and then we'll be all good to go. So I went to, the events, and I didn't see the invite, and this is obviously what they want you to do, is to not see the invite, and then you have to reach out to them for assistance. So I had to reach out to them earlier this week because I didn't see the invite, and essentially they almost walk you through a process to where you end up giving them access to the Facebook, and that's exactly what happened. It was just something that we were looking so forward to that I guess I had blinders on. I saw things through rose-colored glasses with this, opportunity to be able to go on, the Ed Milet, and it wasn't even me, it was strictly the grandparents, that were invited, but I just was excited for their, story, their love story, their marriage to be told. After that Zoom meeting, when they said that, everything is all good to go now, and just please look out for the events invite in 24 hours. So I just said thank you, and then we got off the phone, took a shower, and then I just didn't have a good feeling about it now. I don't know why in the last month I didn't have a good feeling about it, but something just didn't sit right with me. So after I got out of the shower, I, started like Googling like this person's name, like John Morgan, booking manager for Ed Milet. And then I ended up coming across an Instagram reel of somebody, and I started watching her video, and she basically, said this whole thing, that she was reached out to by a booking manager for Ed Milet, and for her husband ended up catching, saw a reel before she even got to the point that we did. And so she found out it was a scam kind of prior to even doing anything in, Facebook or anything, and losing access, which is great. I'm so happy for her. Immediately I tried to log or to go to the grandparents' Facebook, and it was gone. I no longer had access to it. So I will kind of put the grandparents' Facebook right up here. If you can please report this Facebook page and, say that somebody else is impersonating them, because it is no longer us. And the grandparents also do not have a Facebook at all. So I know there's about 15, I think, to 20 pages out there. None of them are us. So please report all of those pages as, impersonations if you do happen to come across them. But definitely things that, I would take away from this experience is I'm definitely going to be on guard for, any emails, definitely doing double checks prior to all of this, or try and call, like if we ever did get another podcast opportunity, maybe try and call, whether the podcast station or email, the person. But thanks for listening, and lesson learned.